was from my heart, so let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to present to you a brand new era, and we're at the pinnacle. It's more than hip-hop, it's more than rock and roll. The type of music that changed lives and saved souls. Forget the platinum, it's about leaving a legacy. But in the end, I pray you don't remember me. I stand on top of the hill and cry no rain, standing up for what I believe without no shame. We call the fire down and kill the priest stand. Prophets of Baal that tried to steal our sheep. These are the days of the late and the great ones. John Paul, Moses, and don't forget Samson.
That's right.
With the strength of one, many men were slain. All in the name that we praise Yahweh. Take the chains off, let my tongue loose. I got a little something that I wanna say to you. Here we go from city, city, across the land. Delivering our lyrics that sure to be contraband. Put your hands up, enjoy the movement. This one's for the streets, so let's do this. Here we go from city, city, across the land. Delivering our lyrics that sure to be contraband. Put your hands up, enjoy the movement. This one's from my heart, so let's do it. It's like
what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sports 81 podcast. My name is here, and we are back again with another video. But before we get started, let's go ahead and take a 30-second break so that we can all get our minds right, and I'll be back with you here in 3.
That I can't help but stand but the television.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm trying to get better lighting for when I transition from one thing to the other. Even though the setting looks generically the same, guys, do not worry about it. Let's worry about the content that is coming on the particular screen and enjoy it. Anyways, we are talking about age gap dating. Yes, we are talking about age gap dating. And this is something that I've been thinking about talking about, but I really didn't want to get too highly involved in it because of some of the controversy and things that comes behind it. But I figure as a middle-aged adult that it agrees to a certain extent with age gap dating. It's about time to address some of the controversy behind it and give you some of my opinion on the positives and negatives of age gap. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. But before I go into my spiel, go ahead and give me a like, a thumbs up, or a thumbs down. Either way, it is engagement. As well as if you like the material that I am giving out to you, feel free to press that subscribe button so that you will know when my videos come out, because they come out every Monday and Tuesday, unless I'm sick or I'm doing something else. Monday and Wednesday. I'm sorry, I said Monday and Tuesday. Monday and Wednesday. And as well, go ahead and comment down below and share this with somebody that you feel needs to hear it. Okay, so let's get into it. Age gap dating. Do I agree with it or do I disagree? But as I've told you in the beginning, I agree with age gap dating. I think age gap dating is a good thing to a certain extent. To a certain extent. And I know what you're probably going to say. Where is the line drawn between age gap and predatory type deals? And I will tell you that. But the reason I really that really got me to want to talk about this topic today is because of this particular video that I seen this morning And while we're not going to watch the whole video, I'll probably just cruise through it a little bit. It was interesting to see how things have changed over the course of time and how things are evolving over the course of time. And it made me want to talk about age gap. So without any further ado, let's get into this, and then we'll come back and continue to go from there. Okay, so let me set this up, add this to the stage.
Economic factors and the rich, evil pedophile clowns that run our gay, retarded government, the fantasy of a rich, older girlfriend taking charge and making you chicken nuggies while you play video games in your pajamas all day is thriving. Back in my day, we called this cougar hunting. Or, you know, mommy issues. But the kids today are calling it something different. Hag-maxing. In my last video, I jokingly referenced the term hag-maxing.
You've been on a date with a 40-year-old?
Okay, that's different.
How is that different?
He's right, it's different. You're robbing the cradle, he's hag-maxing. Educate yourself. Which greatly intrigued a lot of you. So I decided, you know what, I am going to make an entire video dedicated to covering this phenomenon. Gen Z men going out of their way to date older women. What is this? Why is this happening? Is this happening? And if it's happening, is it a good thing, or is it a symptom of broader societal issues? Why are all these young whippersnappers scooping up these older timepieces?
So let's just stop it right there. And this is kind of why I wanted to talk about age gap, because I think it is a new phenomenon now that is beginning to trend in our society as a whole. I'm gonna see if I can dim these lights just to, because wow, light's bright and my one little light is not really capturing. This particular setup at night, but anyway, it seems to be happening quite frequently amongst women now, as it does men, where older women are dating younger men. And when I heard this term, I was like, this is very interesting. Now, let me look into this, which got me to thinking about the whole age gap dating thing and how people actually talk about it in real life, and what is my experience with age gap, and what is my thoughts about it. But before I go into my thoughts, let's watch a little bit more of this, and then I will give you my thoughts and ideas about age gap.
Speaking of timepieces, let's quickly get into today's sponsor, Holtzgern.
Anyone with $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans may qualify for help from National Debt Relief. Minimum payments could literally keep you in debt for decades. $10,000 in debt can take anywhere from 14 to 26 years to pay off if you're only paying the minimums. And that's just $10,000. I know many of us have a lot more than that. Getting started is easy.
Holtzgern is a young Austrian company. Oh, nice. It must be socially acceptable for 37-year-old men. A very strange gold stainless steel floor. Now, this term hag-maxing went viral a few months ago with this screenshot. Meet the hag-maxers, Gen Z's new social trend of dating older women. A very strange phenomenon is making its rounds on social media. Gen Z men are ditching casual sex with their women to pursue long-term relationships with financially stable and experienced millennial ladies. Now, even though this article doesn't actually exist, it was a meme created on 4chan, because of course it was, but the meme did spark a massive conversation and debate about hag-maxing. And people had a lot of strong opinions about it. Motherless behavior. This is just mommy issues rebrand. Another day, another psyop. It's not hag-maxing, it's MILF hunting, and it's an art. Please don't misappropriate my fetishes, giving the dumbest name known to humankind to having a mommy kink. I mean, to be honest, I'm 16, waiting for a 20 to 25-year-old to pick me up, lol. Okay, officer. I'm gonna throw up. I would love to have a 40-year-old sugar mama who buys me gifts and pays my bills. Drizzle, drizzle. Young, hard dicks and the older women who enjoy them. This isn't new. Hagmax bandwagoners are so cringe. I've been hagmaxing since 2nd grade in Miss Johnson's class. I am going to kill every last Gen Z and Gen Alpha kid on this planet, including myself. I want to be a hagmaxer, lol, any female taker, XD. I like thick MILFs and I cannot lie. Oh nice, it must be socially acceptable for 37-year-old men to date 20-year-old women again. Whoa, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Absolutely not. I fucking love adult women. Women over 32 should be illegal. Now, according to the very astute, always reliable source, knowyourmeme.com, the term hagmaxing is very popular in the VTuber community. Now, I don't have much interest in the VTuber community, but they seem to have a lot of interest in me. A lot of interest. Should I do a video?
Okay, so I think that's about enough of that. But now you know why I wanted to talk about this particular thing, because of the word hag maxing, right? Now, before I get into my diatribe of age or on age gap, let me say this. Some people are going to agree with age gap dating and some people are not. But I think, as I stated in the beginning, there are rules to this. And these rules need to be strictly abided by because of the dangers in this. See, there's a danger when you start talking about age gap, and that's everybody's biggest concern. And the biggest concern when you start talking about age gap dating is the predatory nature that can happen when you started talking about these things. As you've seen in some of that young lady's comments, she had some young dude that was 16 waiting for a 20-year-old, 19 waiting for somebody to pick him up. And that's the dangers of this. Both ways, female and male. When you start talking about too big of an age gap and these are not consenting adults, then there becomes an issue in this whole thing. And it's not an issue that we often like to look at or we often like to speak of, especially in terms of men and women. And in particular, when older women start dating younger men, because there is some idea out there that even though he's young, he enjoys what's going on. Well, while he may be stimulated, he has no idea of the repercussions or has a full grasp of what is going on. He just knows he's being aroused and stimulated. That's all he knows. That's all he knows. But that grown woman could be preying on his lack of knowledge and his unknowing of the consequences that come behind all the things that he is doing. Now, having said that, having got the dangers out, I think that's the biggest danger of age gap dating. I believe that there are rules to this. And let me state the rules. Anybody with the word teen in their age should only be dating teens. The only exception to the rule, in my honest opinion, should be 22, at the very oldest 23. So if you're dating somebody who is 18, and let me put the age gaps, somebody between 18 and 23, just like it would be on a dating app, right? Then cool. 18 to 23, either way, flip-flop it, cool, fine. Nobody under the age of 18 should be seeing anybody that is above the age of 18 or older. and I'm not going to even touch the younger. Let's just keep it at 18, because that's once again that predatory thing, right? The only exception for me is if they're both in high school and he's 50, but that's for parents to determine, right? I'm not a parent, so I'm not going to sit there and tell you what your teenage son or daughter should be doing. I'm talking to grown people who are making grown adult decisions. After about the age of 23, you should be leaving teenagers alone. My honest opinion. Now, let me say this as a caveat, because I already know, I hear y'all screaming, there are exceptions to the rules, but the exception doesn't make the rule. Once again, the exception does not make the rule. You gotta look at it like this. Who you are dealing with needs to be a consenting adult that at least at the bare minimum understands they are an adult and they are making a decision that can affect their life. Once again, they are an adult and they understand that they are making a decision that can affect their life. That's what needs to be the rule when it comes to age gap. There shouldn't be this, because then once again, you go back to that danger of it being predatory. But let's move on. Now, after the age of 23, then you can start talking about what type of gaps you are wanting to institute. Do you want to institute a 2-year gap, a 5-year gap, a 10-year gap? And sorry, people, something happened with my computer right there. That's crazy. Some people have gone as far as instituting a 20-year gap. But here's my overall consensus. When you start getting too big of an age gap, then you're going to start to have issues. You're going to start to have problems in the sense of, how are you guys going to relate? Now, once again, let me state, there's an exception to the rule. There's always exceptions to the rules. There are always those who are younger and have an older mindset, or they've been raised a particular way, or whatever the case may be. But I am talking to the vast majority. When you start getting over that 10-year age gap, it becomes hard to relate, because now you're not only a decade apart, you're 1 or 2 decades apart, maybe even a millennia apart, right? Possibly. You then are going to find it hard to connect and relate to your partner. Now, don't get me wrong. Once you pass, I think I would say a good age is about 25. Age is nothing but a number, but now you got to talk about, how are you going to relate? How are you going to connect? What are you going to be talking about? Because when I am talking about dating in particular, I don't talk about casual dating. I'm not talking about casual hookups. I'm talking about long-term relationships that lead into marriage. So I am not talking about something that you are just going to do quite quickly and then get rid of. Now, if that's what you're into and that's what you're doing, then fine. This is probably not the channel for you, because when I talk about relationships and when I talk about dating, I am talking about dating to marry, right? I'm not talking about casual hookups. I have never talked about casual hookups. And I never will, because that's not something I believe in. As a matter of fact, just to money trail a little bit, just to give you an idea of what I believe, why I don't believe in casual hookups, because I believe it decreases your value, both men and women alike. And I also believe that it decreases your sensitivity to be able to connect with a person on a highly intimate level. That, see, when you start engaging with too many people on a certain level, that intimate, deep level that you're only supposed to interact with a person with as man and wife, you then confuse not only your body, but you also can confuse your emotions, and you desecrate your spirit with all these different people. Now, guys, I'm going to say something here that's going to sound a little bit controversial, but remember, I am a Christian first. So I am always going to refer back to the Bible just for this particular trail. In the Bible, the woman at the well, when Jesus approached her, he said, "Go home and get your husband." She said, "I don't have a husband." He said, "You're right. And the guy that you are with now is not your husband. You have 5 of them or 6. I don't remember the exact number, but Jesus was referring to, in that particular case, the amount of interactions that she had engaged with men that weren't her husbands. In a spiritual aspect, especially in Christianity, when you sleep with somebody, there is a spiritual connection, whether you believe it or not. And if you check out my TikTok, I have a TikTok at the Standard 81 podcast. At the Standard 81 podcast, another little plug there, talking about intimacy. So I'm not going to go into that rant. I just wanted to let you know this is why I don't believe in casual dating or casual hookups. I believe it leads to a lot of problems. But back to age gap. We have to be assured that the people that we are looking to interact with understand the consequences and the benefits of being with you, whether it be on the woman's side or on the man's side. And they understand those consequences and they understand those benefits fully, because you need to understand both. You can't just look at all the benefits that you have and that partner or that spouse cannot just look at all the benefits they're going to gain and say, wow, this is a worthwhile investment, and not look at the price that they have to pay in order to be in that relationship. See, that in and of itself can be an issue with just dating alone. But imagine dating somebody who is 20 years your senior, 10 years your senior, 5 years your senior. 2 years is not that bad. But when you start talking about age gap, now you start talking about different thought processes, different ways of living, how they were raised. All that comes into account when you start talking about age gap. So it needs to be something that's not only discussed, it needs to be something that's well thought out before you even go down that trail. And you need to be able to converse with that person about those particular issues in ways that both of you understand. So while I am a big proponent of age gap, especially for men, because women, when they are younger, they are more fertile. They are, and if you're a single childless man and you want to have a family and you want to have children with that individual, it's probably a bit better if you get somebody that is younger than you and is able to have children easily versus somebody who is older and could have a lot more complications. Now, if you're a young man that says to himself, hey, I'm not really worried about children, I'm really just wanting to be in a relationship, I'm not worried about building a family, none of that stuff, then cool. Hook up with a, go ahead and find an older woman, who tickles your fancy. But just understand what comes with that. Understand what comes with that. If you imagine yourself to be a father of your own children, and she may have children of her own, just realize that the most you're going to be is a stepfather. At the very most. Because you engage and marry a woman who has children and is older, that's probably what all you're going to get. And you have to understand that. You can't just look at it as, oh, she's stable, she's got everything on her own, she can help me move my way on up. That's how you put yourself into a trap. That's how you put yourself into a place where you start regretting the decision you make, and you start criminalizing and demeaning the person that you're with and everybody else around you. You see it happening in these podcasts, in TikTok spaces where they have these lives. They talk about these things back and forth. Who is at fault? Is the man at fault? Is the women at fault? Women do this, men do this, woo, back and forth. But when you start to grow up and understand the nature of what you are doing, especially when it comes to dating, then you understand you have as much of a part to play in that as the person that you are interacting with does. And in a case of you getting somebody who is younger than yourself or older than you are, you've got to understand that dynamic even more. And you've got to understand and recognize that there may be major parts, not values and not standards, but major parts of your life that you may not understand and you may not click with, but you have to be able to work through those things, communicate well together, and be able to ride through the storm. Or else you're going to end up like everybody else, broken up, divorced, whatever the case may be. So while I am not against quote unquote hag maxing, and I am not against hypergamy, I'm not against age gap dating, I do want young men and young women to understand what it is they are getting into. Sure, an older man is more stable and he's got more going on for himself and all this other stuff and woo. But with that stability and all that discipline and stuff, he may not want to move around a lot. He may not be going out like that. He may not be doing all the other stuff that you like to do as a 22, 23, 24, 25, even 30-year-old woman. Depending on what age gap, like I said, 5, 10, 20. I don't think you should go any farther than 20, honestly. After that, it's just kind of ridiculous, but, whatever. And as a young man, understand that, hey, look, that woman, she's going to go through some stuff. Women already go through things in their body, period, as just being women alone. But as she gets older, she's going to change, and a lot of stuff in her body is going to change. And she's going to act different, feel different, and be different as she gets older. She might get wiser and she may get more money, but she ain't going to get no younger. And things are going to happen to her. Are you ready to deal with that? Anyways, I think I've stated my points clear enough. I didn't want to belabor this too long because I don't think there's a whole lot to age gap outside of ages and knowing the parameters of what ages are appropriate to be dating. I would say teenagers are off limits to those who have zeros or ones or twos after their number. Teenagers are off limits. Now, once again, let me say there's always the exception to the rule, but that person shouldn't be any less than 18. Any less than 18. And at that, I'm still going to probably look at you funny. Because it's like, what are y'all relating on? Not saying it's bad, but what are y'all relating at? She is an adult, but what is y'all's relation point? In conclusion, age gap is cool. It's fine. Just know what it is you are getting into. Count the cost before you get into that relationship. And then make your decision not only based upon your age, but based upon the outcome that you want to happen and the things that you know you can live with. And other than that, okay, date who you want. And that's all I really want to say. Anyways, guys, thank you for checking out the Standard 81 podcast. Like, share, comment, do all that stuff down below. If you want to get in touch with me, all my links are in the bio. Linktree everywhere. Threads, Instagram. I'm not sure if TikTok is on there, but everything is linked in there. Cash App, anything. How to get in touch with me. Everything is there. And I will see you guys on the next one. God bless you all and have a good day. Peace.